The FMS Reflex version 3. Version 3 is red. The version 2 was orange. That was the one that most of us are all familiar with. It was the version 2, the orange one that came in all the FMS plug-and-play airplanes, the PNP. And if you bought one of the FMS PNP airplanes, you just had to install your own receiver, and then this little gizmo right here would do all the stabilization for you and give your plane level flight, or just help out with the speed bumps and the stabilization. What do they call that? What do they call that? The turbulence. Yep, it would help out with the turbulence, or it would keep your plane level for you. You had the ability to use a switch on your transmitter to toggle between all three of those different flight modes. But in the orange one, the version 2, we couldn't do any custom changes. So if you took a reflex that came out of one of the FMS PNP airplanes and then you put it into a different airplane, you couldn't adjust the gain, which is the sensitivity to the stabilization for the turbulence, and you would have to mount this exactly how it was mounted in the plane that it came out of, because this reflex has to know the front to back, the top to bottom, and so on, because this is what gives you the stabilization. So if you mounted it upside down and it was intended to be right side up, it would automatically flip your plane over and it would fly upside down the whole time. Well, probably not, but it would think right side up and wrong side down. And anyways, this one is Bluetooth. We're supposed to be able to connect our phone to it. Let's just see what it's all about. Let's open this guy up. So what you get inside the FMS Reflex version 2 kit and caboodle? Well, you get the reflex, and you get some servo leads to connect your, oh, there's the aliens right there. Connect your aliens from your receiver. All you need if you're using a reflex is a basic receiver. You can get a $10, we're talking Spectrum here, a DSMX 6-channel receiver, an AR610 or something. That's all you need if you're going to use the reflex for your stabilization and level flight. Looks like we got a USB-C to the USB-A. I think we're going to need that for something. Apparently, this reflex is exactly like a version 2, or we're supposedly be able to step it up a notch and do some custom programming. So if you just want to pick a plane out of the FMS's lineup and program it for, whatever, the Beaver, then you can just do that. Or if you want to do some custom stuff, we can do that also. All right, we got a bunch of QR codes here. I think these are going to come in handy. And this is how you would connect it. You would get a basic receiver, plug the receiver into the reflex into the airplane. This looks like a S-bus connection. And here is what we all know. You have your receiver and your channel 2 for the aliens. Instead of going directly to the servo, you would go into the reflex and then out of the reflex over to the servos. So let's see about the programming. There's some more QR codes. Here's the directions on how to do it. All right, let me grab my tablet. Hang tight. All right, so in the directions, the first thing it says to do to connect your Reflex version 3 via Bluetooth is to go to the App Store and download the app called FMS Hobby. You could either scan the QR code, or right there where it says FMS Hobby, you can go to the App Store and look for it. And it specifically says it will only work on the mobile app. So that means a home computer is not going to work. So we need to go to the Play Store, and we're going to search for FMS Hobby. and go. And there it is. We're going to install it. I'll be back when it's loaded. All right, let's open it, and we'll follow the directions on what it takes to connect the Reflex to our phone or a tablet via the Bluetooth. So before we connect it to the Bluetooth, I went ahead and bound it to a transmitter, and I plugged in one servo just for the aliens. And without doing any programming at all, there's some kind of a default plane setup or something already in the Reflex. Watch when I wiggle the Reflex. It's already got a setup in it already. It's already some kind of stabilization is already happening in the Reflex. You can tell that in this particular setup, whatever it's programmed for by default, that the front or the back, it has to be mounted like this, because I have a servo set up for the aliens, and you can tell by the roll that the gyro is working. If it was mounted like this, there's not much action, but like this there is. So now that we have it connected and powered on, let's go back to the app and click old connectoroo, and let's see if we can get into the menu here. We might have to do some updating or something, who knows. Let's see, connect now. Okay, we need to go to the computer and use the USB-C cable it came with and update it. Okay, so it wanted us to go to fmshobby.com, and we need to download the Reflex version 3. And that's right here. I found the Reflex, and I clicked on it, and download links is right there. So let's open this guy. Guess I could have saved it. And I'm going to double click on what we just downloaded, and I'm going to extract it, and I'm going to say okay. And we're getting closer and closer. Now we've opened it and extracted everything, and now my computer's saying, oh, hang tight, don't do that. And here we go. We recognize all this stuff. So the directions say to download the version 3, and we need to connect our version 3 to it with the USB-C cable it came with. So I'm going to plug the cable into it now. I just plugged the USB-C cable into it. Computer's making noise, and it just recognized it. I guess it came with the pits in it. And after we're connected, it says to initiate the software. Once connected, the interface will show downloadable aircrafts here on the right. And here's our software version 3.0 and the serial number and all that stuff. So now that all this has been done, I believe we can go back to the tablet. All right, so we're back from the computer. I've got the Reflex connected back to our receiver. I've got the transmitter turned on. I have turned off the app, so we're going to start from scratch. The receiver is not on right now. FMS app. And connect now. I know. Now it's asking for the permissions that it wants. And I'm going to turn the power on to the Reflex. It's going to boot up. And connect. And connecting. All right. So there's the pits. That's what it came with. So we can make some adjustments in here somewhere. Let's just look through it real quick. The bar graph down here is for the you can see the gyro in motion. They call it the real-time waveform. So switching airplane parameter settings, stabilizing mode angle adjustment. Let's take it all the way up and input. So it just sent that to it. I guess there's a lot to learn on this, just like the forward programming, huh? So angle adjustment, parameters, stabilizing mode, angle adjustment. So basically what I've learned so far is that we can change the parameters for the FMS models. We can't build our own model from scratch like you can with forward programming and the Spectrum products. But let's say the gain is a little too high for you in the pits, and you can change it. So we can, right now it's set up for the pits, and we only have a servo set up for the aliens. And the bar number 1 says the stabilized mode angle adjustment, and I'm guessing that is for when you're in, we'll call it safe select, in stabilized mode, where it helps you keep level flight, and your limited bank angle. This is what you can change here, is how far you can bank before it doesn't allow you to bank any farther. And the optimized mode sensitivity is the level of gain for the sensitivity. The Reflex has 3 options. One option is no help at all, just like flying without safe select, without anything. Another option is their optimized mode. That's for wind. That's to help you have a smooth flight. And then their other option is a stabilized, which is like safe select with limited bank angles, and it keeps you upright. So that is what we can change for each of the control surfaces. So let's do a little demonstration real quick. I've got everything turned down for the aliens, and we'll hit input, and we'll take a look at our Reflex here real quick. So we know that it has to be mounted like that for the roll, and there's servos for the ailerons. So we have everything turned down. So we don't know if this is in stabilized mode right now or if it's in optimized mode, but we have both of them turned down. So when I rock it back and forth, you can see the servos just doing very little. So now let's go back to our parameter adjustment, and we'll take our stabilized mode, the stabilized angle adjustment, and we'll take it to the max, and then we'll look back at our Reflex here in case this is in the stabilized mode right this second. So it must not be in stabilized mode, because I'm flipping it upside down, and it should be trying to right side the plane up. So it's only in optimized mode. So let's go back here to our parameter settings, and we'll take our optimized settings and crank it to the max and input. And you can tell it's done something. It's going haywire. I barely touch it, and the servo's going crazy. So that is the gain for optimized mode. Let's turn it back down here. I just turned it down on the bar graph here. We'll take it here to about the middle, and then input, and back down here to our Reflex. So now we can rock it, and it's working a little bit. So basically, all I'm seeing now that I read the directions a little bit more is that we can change the parameters for the FMS models. that's what we can do with the Bluetooth. So if you put a Reflex version 3 into any pits, you could adjust the gain, but you would have to mount the Reflex, you know, just like they want it mounted. Let's see if we can see anything else on mounting directions or something like we have on the computer, where it tells us exactly how to mount the Reflex. So let's see what switching airplane does. All right, so we're going to take our Reflex out of our pits and we're going to put it in a 12-20 millimeter Super Ease V4 and installation position. So it's telling us to mount the Reflex in our Super Ease just like that, because the Reflex knows where the front, where the back, where the left, where the right, and it knows upside down versus right side up. So we have to mount the Reflex just like that, which would be like so, into our Super Ease. And we'll do that right now. So I've got the Reflex on the table, just like it shows in the picture. And so return. And we should have the Super Ease, and we don't. Switching airplane. Super Ease. I just turned the tablet sideways, thinking that there might, or right side up rather, thinking there might be different options. Yep, okay, so I had to turn the tablet like this in order to see synchronized data. When I had the tablet like this, and we go back to the Super Ease, we couldn't see synchronized data. It's below that. So turn the tablet like that, like you're holding your cell phone rather. Super Ease and synchronized data. Bam. And I know it said something failed. Okay, so now we have the Super Ease in the Reflex. And it disconnected for some reason. Anyways, okay guys, hey, we learned a bunch about the Reflex version 3. We can change the gain on their optimized mode, and we can change the angle limit for the whatever the other mode is. Maybe it's vice versa. We'll figure it out. But hey, like, share, subscribe, and then like it some more, and share it 2 more times, and make sure you're still subscribed, because for some reason people get unsubscribed and they don't ask to do it. At 20,000, we'll give away 3 jets. We can do 3 FMS jets. We can do an E-flite, FMS, and a free wing. But we're going to do 3. So hey, thank you guys. Happy flying.